it?
Love it. Love it. It's just like home. Right off the bat, this is my kind of guy right here. I like this.
The paint is flawless. It's on white walls.
It can drop it like a bad habit. I have dated women that were bigger than this car.
Lower don't mean it's slower, right?
That's right, that's right. Bags aren't just for groceries, kids.
So we can sort of fly away with.
But you know, this thing is, these cars got a really bad stigma to them. But this was the stepping stone of what we just saw to one of the most popular Mustangs ever, the Fox Body, rather. And I got a fun Fox Body story for you, a little info too.
Okay.
But these cars right here are now extremely sought after. You gotta think, these cars, real short wheelbase, unitized construction. Of course, this one's a V8, a lot of them were V6s and whatnot. But these were sporty cars. When you start getting the little Cobras and the King Cobras, these were some really neat cars. And now they're really starting to come to light. And they're really going up in value because these cars didn't survive.
And to see one in the UK, I mean, it's very unheard of. Talk to me about what this car is to you and where did it come from?
I bought this from a chap down south, but this is my second purchase. They're just great cars. They're being built for living in the dog. They didn't get a bad rep. Everybody thinks they were parked inside. And they're just a fantastic, fun little car. And this stuff's got blood and skin and all different parts you built into it. So
It's got a bit of everything going into this. I love that.
A parts bin build.
When you look in the car, though, I know this was of its era, but it still has the finesse and the little details that you see in a 60s and a 70s car, because look at the trim level.
Exactly. I mean, even on the dash of the big body Mustang, look at the dash of this car. It's a smaller version, but the same idea. Carrying over racing stripes, got the hood scoop, even got the louvers on the back.
You know, this is the Ford Motor Company trying to modernize and move forward, and actually overall nailing it in the end.
Well, you got to think about it too. This was when the gas shortage was 73, 74. Those cars you couldn't give away then. These were the new in thing.
So these in England we have like catalytic converters, that kind of stuff, but these have what they call a smog, right? Is that right?
Yes. And that was another thing too. Is all the California emission stuff, CARB, came into effect. Where those big cars couldn't make it, these did.
Well, these go under a lorry. And it's the only time I've ever noticed them, to be fair, until now. Because I've seen one of these with like 6-foot flames hanging out the back of the Dip Monkey one. It's a beautiful little thing, right?
Well, so these are the new edge body style Mustangs, 1999 to 2004. These cars were really cool. This is coming off my favorite generation of Mustang, the SN95. And these cars share a lot with the SN95. It's almost a rebodied SN95. Same roof line, all that type of stuff, doors, front fenders are different, back quarters different, and the decklet's different. But these are great cars, and they have some really fun programs with the mod motors in these cars.
Yeah, you are like a walking encyclopedia. It's amazing.
This is my life. This was high school for me.
So when all your buddies were chasing off women, you were getting the cars to pick them up.
Go chase women, yeah. Actually, a funny story. So, you got to think about it. Back in high school, I weighed 300 pounds. I was fat, smoked like a tar kettle, and my dad knew that. Zero athletic ability. And it was the funniest thing ever. I wanted to go out for the football team. I played 2 games, got knocked on my ass both times. I quit the football team, and my dad told me, he said, son, get you a good car. Get you something cool. And I'm like, yeah, I want to give me something cool. He said, just think that all your buddies are playing with each other, now you can go play with the girlfriends.
Talk to me about this car. How long have you owned it? What is it to you?
I bought this about a year ago, and it's my first Mustang. So getting the first Mustang as a Cobra, bragging rights over your dad.
That's a pretty cool step forward, right? And it looks the part. I mean, what did it for you? What about this car, the shape, the engine? What was it for you that made you want to go and put your hand in your pocket?
Well, not having one to start with, and always wanting one. Not this specific shape, but being the Cobra, that's what drew me in. Loving the car as well. It's brilliant. It came completely bare white, done all the graphics myself, had a little bit finished off on the bumper. I've put a border attack exhaust on it, which is woken up quite a lot. It's got a Can-Am cold air filter on and outrageous fireplace for mine. So, but there's supercharger is pending.
That is amazing. And guys, what you don't understand is, at the same era as this, the Police P71, the Crown Vics, they came to their own. And basically, when they were building the Lincoln Town cars and the Crown Vics, all the little switches that you see in those police cars are in here. Like, they were the predecessor, right?
Well, a lot of that stuff. And also, you got to think about this mod motor platform. You know, the mod motor was actually supposed to come out in the last year of the Fox body, but it wouldn't fit. So that's why they switched over to the SN95 platform, which is basically the same platform this car's on.
Wow, thank you so much. And this car is an absolute joy to look at here. But give this man a round of applause. So this car is a smart machine for your ears and your arse, apparently. That's it. Welcome to Neville.
Love it. Love it. It's just like home.
Thank you so much, man. So the other one was your contender, right? But then this kind of hop skipped and jumped over the realms of volume and carbon fiber.
I will tell you something. I'm like, no, I'm leaning this way.
Well, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works. First of all, we just give this man a round of applause. Give this man a round of applause. He's good on the parade. Thank you very much for making my ears hurt and my face smile. But this is where I've got a spanner and I'm going to throw it in the works, okay? American muscle car lovers like us. And then they produce something as pretty as this. And it kind of has the realms, the shapes of a Mustang, but the finesse of electricity.
Well, you know, you got to think. First thing I want to say, if you took this thing drifting, would it be the electric slide?
Oh. You just don't have words here. This is
I know what it is.
This car is absolutely beautiful. It goes so hard.
I dated a girl in high school that had one with the steering wheel on the other side.
So, to everyone out there, this is a very, very, very rare car here in the UK. Tell everyone what this car is and just how special it is.
It's a very special car. It's Toyota Corolla AE86 Bruno. Japanese import. Been in the UK now for, I've had it for 6 years. Imported prior to that, 2 years before. Tuned, rebuilt in Japan by a little independent race team. So this car's been fully seam welded, tuned engine. It's fully set up for drifting. Differential, suspension. It's a quality car for drifting. This is my show car, so this is all been restored. Interior, wheels, exterior, everything. It's all.
That was the big thing. You see these cars back in the States, but they were made to drift. And so they're 10 footers. This thing is an absolute show car. You just don't see these often this time.
Some people don't understand, you know, a lot of the cars in this era were front engine, front wheel drive, you know, is like sort of a monocoque chassis with the engine and gearboxes in the front together.
Right.
Well, people didn't realize that these were still right-hand rear wheel drive, sorry. Yes. So you can actually drive it like you stole it, have some fun, but on the same hand, these got smashed up all the time. And the likes like, Paul Walker and Sung Kang from Fast and Furious and biggest collectors around the world struggle to get their hands on one of these. So how did this end up in your possession?
I was searching for one of these for quite a few years. I was looking in Japan, Japanese auctions, and I was looking in Ireland because there's a massive following for these, for the twin cams in Ireland. It was difficult to find a good one, and it just so happened that when I had the right amount of money, the right one came up for sale in the north of the country. So I went all the way up there from down in Milton Keynes to go and get it. And yeah, just right timing.
It's amazing. So Shane Lynch from Monster Energy Drift Driver, he had one of these a little while ago, a black one, I believe, and it was sought after. He loved it. He bought it. He parked it in his workshop. And within 24 hours, he got offered money that he couldn't refuse and let it go. And I hope to see you here again, and hopefully we'll come and check out your shows. But thank you so much.
Beautiful car, sir. Beautiful car.
Give this man a round of applause. This is a very rare sight, ladies and gentlemen. That's just pretty as a statue, right? Look at the modifications in this E30 BMW.
Oh, goodness.
So these cars are renowned for their sideways, right? This looks like it's got a whacking great Brody
Right off the bat, this is my kind of guy right here. I like this. There's nothing like a small block Chevrolet powered BMW.
So would this be like an LT1 kind of era?
Yeah, this is a Gen 1 small block with a ramjet style fuel injection on it. You gotta think, this motor originally came out in 1955, so 265, and just over the years it got bigger and better. Traditional small block, I mean, they're tried and true. You can make killer horsepower with them, great reliability, and even with this fuel injection, you get decent economy if you stay out of the boost.
But with turbos like that, I don't think you're
twin
going to be...
Taberskis to boot. This thing is awesome. I love all the copper treatments with the carbon fiber and got all that pretty metallic.
All of the...
You can't fake the flake.
No, you can imitate
The
it.
candy is dandy. The candy is dandy. I spotted it. So
Talk to me about this.
This bad news. I like this.
Well, I've owned it 16 years now. Obviously, got a nice small block in it now. Brought up with hot rods and yanks all my life, so it's going to have a V8 in it at some point. So
it's a German UK built yank, realistically.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you've got all the power of an American muscle car, but with all the refinements of an E30 BMW.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'll tell you something else. It's got more than rumble in the front. It's got a little knock in the trunk too.
Wow. Okay, now
212s back there. Look at the rear suspension setup on this thing. Look how slick that is. All done in carbon fiber.
Wow, I wasn't expecting. So basically, on a lot of supercars, they have shock absorbers that are basically designed to go inside the car. So normally, traditionally, a car goes over a bump, the shock absorber goes up and down. These go side to side like a McLaren or a Ferrari or something, right? Cantilever, the word is, right.
We're learning new words today.
I love it, I love it, I love it. And this car, the paintwork is amazing, right?
It is beautiful. I love that color, and I hate that the sun kind of went out of the way. But you can catch this flake and the metallic in there. Absolutely gorgeous.
But it gives you an element of burgundy when the sun goes away. So we're like a real bright kind of red flake, and then the sun goes away, it turns into a really subtle Ron Burgundy kind of essence, right?
So when you walk past it, you just don't think much of it, and then it catches your eye, and you're like...
Well, I'm going to fill you something in on the understated. They may think that all the way till they get to that front fender, and then after that goes out the window.
What an absolute work of art. So what have you got planned for it from future? Because I don't really think there's anything else you can do to it, right?
I'm actually putting a new engine at the moment, a bigger one. So it's going to be exactly the same small block, but it's an aftermarket race block. It's going to have different, it's going to be stroked, different heads. So it's going to be 1,500 horsepower in the next year or so.
So next year you're going to bring it back and then scare us some more.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know, I tell you what, I want to ride in this. That's one thing.
That's a
I want to
top
ride in it.
today.
I like that. But I'm going to tell you something else. Sam, as long as you've been around cars, you just asked a man. So you've done everything you're going to do with it. They are never done. Never.
Thank you so much. What an amazing bit of kit. Give this man a round of applause. I have a surprise for you coming around the corner. So this is everything to me, right? So for the monsters, yeah. You can imagine like sort of late 60s, early 70s, you'd have like the limos with the gangsters around the back. Look at the item detail in this. Does that not scream monster to you?
Oh my goodness, that thing's just classic. I love it. With the slide red.
Love a Webasto. I'll tell you that it might be a Webasto, but this car, although the paint is flawless, it's on white walls.
It can drop it like a bad habit.
This car pulled in earlier and I just had to stop. I had to put my phone down just to have a chat with the guy, because this car, although I've made him move like 12 times today to take a photo, it is an absolute work of art. Tell me about what you've done, because looking inside, this is not standard, right?
So I brought it across from California 5 years ago, ran it around as a rat rod, and then it was reliable, so I left the engine as it was, stuck the air ride on it, turned it the way I wanted it to be, and then me and two mates ripped it apart for the last 4 years. Literally got on the road maybe 2 months ago. So things like the Webasto roof, the curtains, the bench seat, they were factory options in '72. So I wanted to add that. My car didn't have them, so I wanted to add that to it. So yeah.
What I'm seeing with the Webasto roof, a lot of these Webasto roofs back in the days were an after fitment and a little bit of a bodge, and they had no finesse to them, they had no roof line, and they were just basically a piece of vinyl that pulled back. But when you look into the detail you get down, it's got like a absolute beautiful velvet kind of feel to it, and the roof lining is amazing. It looks like it's OE, right?
Exactly, and that's what I wanted. It's an OE size. Everything I wanted to be able to rock up to a classic car meet at normal height and silence and exhaust, but then also turn up to something like this, make it sound like Armageddon, and then slam it in the floor.
So the air ride system, is that like an air ride V2 or something like that?
Yeah, it's airlift performance, literally plug and play. I mean the front chassis to make it lay frame, so the front subframe literally lays on the ground. The rear footwell lays on the ground. Nobody's done that in a 108 before, so yeah.
This is an absolute work of art, right, Rob?
Lower is better. The
Lower.
attitude is in the altitude, kids.
And it's got a V8 rumble to it. It's so cool. Give this man a round of applause. Go check these guys out at the Fitted Automotive Elite class on the bottom corner of our parade here. These guys' attention to detail are second to none, right?
Tell you what, I'm glad he raised it up. That thing's the old reflector collector right there.
So this here is a modern day, probably 95, 96 possible Jaguar XJ, right? And to most people, that's a Daimler, actually, I'm wrong, sorry. Well, it's got Daimler interior, Jaguar on the bonnet, and some of the nicest split rims, and once again, on the deck.
On the air.
Lower don't mean it's slower, right?
That's right, that's right. Bags aren't just for groceries, kids.
Talk to me about this car, and also can we just run over what Fitted is, because most people don't understand or won't know what you are as a group and a congregation. Talk to me about that.
We run Fitted UK. It's in Manchester every year. We just try and get like the highest quality, nice varied mix of cars. It's a general event that we
I love it, and I've just got down here and realised that you stole my nan's bedding for your roof lining.
She did offer it at a discounted rate.
Oh my goodness.
Obviously, owning a V8.
That looks like the bedspread in my hotel room.
Again and again. So, talk to me about what custom modification. What's this, like a 96, 97?
So it's a 1998. To be honest, it's not actually. Probably I paid about £2,000 for the car. The wheels are definitely worth more than the car. It's just taken a lot of tidying up. One of the previous owners painted everything with a brush. So it's just replacing parts, finding bits that he's done and sorting them out, making it original again.
And this is a V8 model, right?
Yeah, it's a 4-litre V8.
So basically, I've grown up with these my whole life, and there's one thing I've known these engines are prone to do is flooding, right? So there's a little way around it. I learned apparently a little bit of oil, a little bit of WD-40, spray it down, give it a couple of turns over, throw the plugs back in, and you can get home. You had that problem yet?
No, to be fair, it's only broken down once on me during the heat wave.
Once yet.
It's a reliable British piece of engine.
So I got a funny story that we're talking about this right quick. I have a good friend of mine. He bought a large lot. A guy that collected Jaguars for years. He bought 50 cars. This man passed away. Bought them from his wife. Bought every one of them. It was so funny. He was sitting in 9-car haulers and hauling all these classic Jags. And the wife said, "Well, I think you about got them all, but there's one more back in the garage in the house. You bought all the Jags. You need to get that one too." She said that one was his favorite. He drove it every day. Keep in mind, this guy bought XKEs, XJs, all this old, really high-end Jag stuff. Well, in his garage was an XJ like this. And she said it was his favorite. He drove it every day. Well, they didn't think nothing about it. They just fired it up, pulled it on the trailer, transport took it home. They unloaded it. You know, a lot of these cars been sitting, they run horrible, all that. That little Jag just fired right up. They had a small block Chevrolet in it.
Oh, really?
That's why he drove it every day.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for showing us your beautiful car. And guys, give this man a round of applause. One thing I've noticed here, right, is in some of these Jaguars, they have a standard rear door shape. Like
this is the long.
This is the long. So this is like for your executives. It's got some tray tables in the back. This is about as expensive as it got as a VIP car back in the late 90s, right?
Yes. If you were a rapper in the 90s, you were riding in this.
That's it. Front, back, middle, wherever, right?
I think you fit, what, 3 in the back? Or 4 in the back, 3 if you're fat, you know?
So behind it, this is something that's a bit close to home. So I've got a 1970 Fiat 500 Lusso with a Webasto, but this car is a bit special. It is so highly tuned. It's got a massive Weber set of carbs on the back of it. And you know what? It is so running rich and so powerful that it is hard to start, which is fair enough. But This thing, every detail is beautiful. Check this out.
There she goes.
She's alive. So cute, so pretty, right? But look at the wheels, like they are absolutely beautiful. They're like a free part, fully custom. But come in the back, come in the back.
It's so angry back there.
I know, right? These carbs are like what you'd call fuel like a Mark 1 Escort Cosworth or whatever. Twin 40s back in the day was what you put on every four banger to make it a rocket ship. And to have it on like a probably 500-600 horsepower Fiat 500 is unheard of, and that's why it's a bit harder to start.
500 horsepower.
Sorry, 500 cubic centimeters, CC engine.
I have dated women that were bigger than this car. That's crazy.
This car is absolutely beautiful. Tell me a little bit about the refinements, and the interior is astounding.
So it's an original 500. The engine's been modified to 740. It's had a full restoration inside and inside, full trim.
It's amazing. I mean, when you look at the refinements and the details,
Look
of
at the
seat,
fit and finish on this thing. It is absolutely gorgeous.
you know, when these cars came off the production line,
I
nothing.
love when cars say do not touch and then I touch them.
You're like that, okay. But you know, when these cars come off the production line, they weren't perfect. They were made quickly, high production numbers, and they were never finished. But the lines around the doors, someone has really spent the time to make this car special.
Exactly.
What an amazing bit of kit. And let's hear this little baby purr, shall we? And thank you. Give this lady a round of applause.